So student, we learned in last video the design of keys, its various failure situations, right? Then we try to understand the concept of designing equations, and we've also solved three numerical to understand the fundamentals of design of key. Right? Now today we are going to start new topic called couplings. Now from the word itself, the coupling says means to join two elements. In our syllabus, a coupling can be defined as mechanical device. Remember, it's a mechanical device, means made up of materials which join two shafts that permanently join two rotating shafts to each others. This is the basic function of coupling. Coupling word itself says something that you are joining two things together. But in our case, we are going to join two shafts. Now there is a reason why we have this topic in our syllabus, right? Why do we want to join two shafts? There is always a reason, right? So what coupling do? It provide the connection for the shaft of units that are manufactured separately. Now there are requirement where there is a long requirement of shaft, right? So longer the shaft, if it is made up of single material without any joint, the transportation, manufacturing and installation will be a problem, right? So what they do, they simply divide in standard length of 10 feet. Now once you divide it, you have to rejoin at the application area, right? So to join this, a coupling is used. Now the question arises, what happen if you keep the shaft longer, more than 10 feet, 20 feet? Now because of higher length, if it is made up of single material, when you rotate it, because of the vibration equations, longer the length, at lower frequency, it whirl out. Whirl out means whirling speed will be very low. Means it will resulted in a higher amplitude. It will vibrate at a higher amplitude, right? That's why its standard length is limited to 10 feet. So because of this reason, we need to connect two shafts, and hence this is where the coupling is used. Many times it is used to connect the motor and generator, as you can see in the figure, right? Here what we have is, let's say there's a pump over here and this is electric motor, right? So it is not advisable to connect a motor directly to the pump on a same shaft. Instead, you have to provide the coupling. Now coupling has many functions and advantages. It provides misalignment of shaft, right? It also provide provision for disconnection and repairing and maintenance, right? So it permit you having little misalignment and introduce mechanical flexibility. So this is only possible by coupling. Now coupling reduces the transmission of shock load from one shaft to another, because it's a design in such a manner that in case if your prime machines, let's say pump or turbine or something else which is connected to the prime mover, if it is overloaded by certain percentage, it will be taken care, it will be absorbed by this coupling rather than transferring that overload to the prime mover. Now it introduces protection against overload, as I discussed earlier, right? So it simply protect your important machineries. Now it should have no projecting parts. This is the requirement, right? So if you have a projecting part, then it simply what happened, it's going to create an accident, right? It may sometimes what happened, because of vibration, this nut and bolts will loosen out and it will be due to centrifugal force, they'll throw away, right? If there is an employee nearby, it create the word accident, right? Just try to look at the figure over here. So this is the figure of flange coupling. And this is muff coupling, right? It is muff coupling. Now let's discuss the types of coupling. Now there are types. One is main three types is, one is mechanical coupling. Let me call it one. Second is fluid coupling, and third is magnetic coupling. So try to understand how these three words arrived, right? Why these three types are arrived. Mechanical coupling means here we are going to use some mechanical provision to connect the two shafts. Right? In case of fluid coupling, the fluid itself is going to provide a locking system. Right? Fluid will work as a solid locking medium which transfer the power. Here magnetic field is used to couple the two shafts. So hence from the locking mechanism, these three types is existing, right? So here it is mechanical, fluid and magnetic. In our syllabus, we are going to discuss the mechanical type. Again, mechanical coupling is divided in two categories. One is rigid coupling, second is flexible. Now from the word itself, rigid means there is no flexibility, there is no a provision for misalignment or something like that. But in flexible, you can have some misalignment or overloading, right? So based on this functions, it has two types. One is rigid coupling, second is flexible. Here also the connecting element will work as a solid part. Here the connecting element permits some flexibility in terms of distortion, some kind of bending and twisting, and hence it is referred as flexible coupling. Now in rigid coupling, we have sleeve or muff coupling. Second is split muff coupling. It's a simply extension of muff coupling, right? The muff coupling is made up of only a single hollow cylinder as shown in earlier figure. This is referred as sleeve coupling or muff coupling. You can see it's simply a hollow cylinder. Now here we can connect the two shafts over here, right? And another shaft over here. So we can insert the two keys and connect them. And we can lock down using by Allen key bolt, right? Now in split muff coupling, what we have, it's extension of muff coupling where the muff coupling is split in two half. Now because of this, you require to bolt together the two shaft. So instead of single piece, it is having two split, right? Two cylindrical halves, right? Now why it is like that? So it accommodates larger diameter, it can transfer more torque with respect to the muff coupling. It is also referred as compression coupling. The third category is flange coupling that we saw over here. Flange is simply nothing, a cylindrical projected part at the end of a cylindrical part, right? Cylindrical end. And this disc-like structure is referred as flange, and hence the name is given flange coupling. Flange coupling provide additional space for bolting. Just look at very carefully, right? So if there is no such flange, you cannot join two shafts. You have to use then the muff coupling. Muff coupling has its own limitation. It cannot be used for larger power transmissions. So you have to look for the another options. So the alternative is flange coupling. Now again in flange coupling, we have solid or forged coupling. Now what we have here is just the figure. Just look at the figure. It's an example of solid or coupling, right? Now here, flange coupling has three categories. One is solid, second is unprotected and protected. Now solid means the flange itself is prepared at the end of shaft. It's an integral part of shaft. It is not a separate thing. This kind of coupling is referred as solid or forged coupling. It is simply prepared on one end of the shaft. It is not a separate part, right? Just like a muff coupling, we are not simply hollow out and simply insert by the key. Rather, it is simply a separate end where the end of the shaft is hammered to hot condition and the flange is prepared. So this kind of coupling is referred as solid coupling. Now where it is used for heavy power transmission like a ship and the turbine, where because of the solid construction, it offer very good joint. Now here in case of unprotected and protected coupling, now here this figure is a case of unprotected flange coupling. Now protection means if you extend this part so that what happened during the rotation, if this nut bolt loosen out due to centrifugal force, they simply fly away, right? And it may result in hitting the employee which is moving around it, right? So to prevent this, some projected part is given. Let me show you in the figure. So this is what the flange, a projected part. So because of that, it is referred as, you can say the flange coupling. Just look at over here, right? So there is no difference. So this is solid coupling. It is used in marine application. And this is protected type of flange coupling. So because of this little shelf type of a projected part, even in case it is fly away, it simply strike over here and drop down, right? This is unprotected, where there is no projection. In this case, if in case nut bolt is loosened out, it simply throw away due to centrifugal force. So this is referred as unprotected, and this is simply a protected one. The construction wise, design wise, it is same. Simply the difference is we have some projections which protect the flying away the nut bolt from the accident. Now in case of flexible coupling, we have bush pin type, universal coupling, Oldham coupling, chain, gear to the flexible. All these couplings are permit misalignment. It also absorb the shock due to overloading, which is not possible in case of solid coupling or in case of a rigid coupling. Now there is a difference. There is a confusion. What is then difference between the coupling and clutch? Now clutch and coupling do the same thing. They transmit the power from prime mover to the element, right? Here coupling is a termed as device used to make permanent or semi-permanent connection, whereas clutch permits the rapid connection disconnection at the wheel of operator. What does it mean? So whenever driver simply press the clutch, it disengages the engine from the wheel. So it's depend on its wheel. Wherever it requires, you want to turn it, it can slow down, it can shift down the gear to the lower number, right? So it is only possible by disconnecting the engine from the wheel. So for where the clutch is used. But here coupling, once it is fitted, it works as a permanent or semi-permanent joint. It cannot be disconnected during the operation at the wheel of operator, right? So this is the basic difference. Now let's summarize the application of coupling. Basically, it is to connect the longer shaft. As discussed earlier, if you require longer connections, you cannot have a longer shaft. You can produce in a rolling mill, but the transportation, installation, and during the rotation, longer the length, less will be the whirling speed. So due to that, it failed in vibration at lower RPM. So it is not desirable. So it is cut in a standard length of, let's say, 10 feet. So after 10 feet, you have to reconnect with the another piece. And that is only possible by coupling. To couple the shaft of driving and driven machines such as electric motor and the pump, right? Diesels, engine, concrete mixtures, motor and hoist. We already have a very visual experience of such machines and equipment where the motor is connected to the machines through the coupling. Sometimes even a rubber belt is also used. Depends on the applications. Now what is the purpose of coupling? Very simple. It to protect the machine from overload. Right. So if machines is very crucial, right? There are chances if, let's say the case of concrete mixtures, right? Let's take the concrete mixture. In case of employee dump into higher material, let's say sand and mixtures and the grit. So that is termed as overload. In that case, coupling will take that shock load or overloading rather than transferring the electric motor. So that way it's protect the prime mover. So this is also function of coupling. It minimizes the vibrations and shock during the working. So this is basically observed in case of flexible coupling because of the material used to connect the two half of the couplings. Flexible coupling saves the damage of the driving element due to axial misalignment of the shaft within a certain limit. So this is also a function of coupling. It simply allows you some deviation, some misalignment during the operations. Now what is the requisite of coupling? कैसी होनी चाहिए? How it should be? It must be easy to assemble, disassemble. This is the first requirement. Second, it should be capable to permit the momentary overload and variable load. Because in design, there are chances that we design the material or equipment for the maximum load, let's say 10 kilonewton, but it starts from 5 kilonewton, even 2 kilonewton, and then goes to the maximum, right? So this varying condition is called variable load, right? So it can support, or it can able to sustain this variable load. Now, third is it should be capable to resist the wear and tear. This is also a function of the coupling. Maintain the required alignment between the driver and driven shaft. In case of longer shaft, the coupling do the two things. It connects the two shaft. It also maintain the alignment, right? It is very important. If you have a misalignment, there are chances of vibrations, and that goes to the machines and ultimately goes to the foundation. So if it is, let's say, if it is very crucial machine, then vibration will disturb the product being machined or being mixed together, or it simply loosen out the connecting bolts. So it is always desirable to reduce the vibrations. So it is only possible by reducing the misalignment between the rotating element. So that is possible by coupling. Capable to transmit the required torque and power, right? So it's a very simple. If you simply connect the two shafts, but if you're having thin wall thickness, it is not able to do the power transmission. So it must be able to transmit the same power that is being transferred from shaft to the key and key to the coupling. rotating element of the coupling should be protected. This is also a requisite of coupling, right? So let's say the protected type of flange coupling is something like that. Okay. Now let's talk about the design of muff coupling. Now this is the first coupling, which is just like a solid hollow cylinder. So it's made from solid material, but it is hollow, right? Why it is hollow? Because you have to allow two shafts together. Once you insert, you have to make a space. So this input shaft and output shaft goes inside, and using the key, you are simply making the joint, right? This is how it works. Now, input shaft provide the torque. That torque transmit from the shaft to the key and key to the coupling. Again, it back to this right side key, that is output shaft key, and then to the output shaft. This is how this muff coupling works. It is also referred as solid coupling. It is also referred as sleeve coupling, right? It's simply a hollow structures. Simply a hollow structures. Now, muff coupling is also referred as sieve coupling or box coupling. These are the names given. In case in examination, if the numerical is given by this name, a box coupling is to be designed for the X value of power transmission, then do not confuse. Remember the synonyms of the coupling. It is a type of a rigid coupling. Now, rigid means there is no movement possible. There is no flexibility. Once you joint it, there is no possibility of any kind of a misalignment or any kind of movement of a part, right? So it works as a solid part, rigid work. It consists of sleeve or hollow cylinder, which is fitted over the end of input and output side by means of sunk key, right? Very simple. From the picture itself, we can conclude, we can simply make a decision, or you can think of that how it is going to work. A two shaft simply inserted, and it is connected by a key. Now, if the length of the sleeve coupling is shorter, you can use one key. If it is larger, you have to use two separate keys. The torque transmitted from input shaft to the sleeve through the key, it is then transmitted from sleeve to the output shaft. This is how it works, right? So from here it is go to the key, then it is go to the sleeve coupling, then it goes back to the key, and then back to the output shaft. This is how the torque is transmitted. Now, what is the advantage? What kind of advantage is offered with respect to flange coupling and other type of coupling? First is simple in design and construction. You can easily manufacture it because it is hollow cylinder. Take a round bar, drill it, and slot it, right? So it is very simple design. Compact in construction. There is no oversize, there is no over length, right? With a small radial dimensions. This is advantages. Less expensive compared to other coupling. Because it is simple in construction, it is not expensive. Now, what are the disadvantages? If you look at the disadvantages, difficult to assemble, dismantle. Now, reason is it has only one way of assembly, right? यहाँ से कर सकते हैं, की डाल सकते हैं, right? और यहाँ से दूसरी की, तो उसको assemble disassemble करना है तो थोड़ी difficult रहेगी. Being a rigid type coupling, accurate alignment of shaft is required. यह एक ही पीस में बनी हुई है, right? It's a simple rigid construction. So if in case the output shaft and input shaft having some misalignment, let's say 0.1 millimeter of axis, it is not going to work. You cannot use this coupling because it not permit any kind of misalignment, right? So you have to have a proper alignment of input and output shaft. This is the requirement. So you can consider the disadvantages, right? Because there are a coupling which permit, in case of flexible type of coupling, it permit the misalignment, but while sleeve coupling does not permit it, right? So it's a disadvantage. Being there is no flexible element in the coupling, it cannot absorb shock and vibration. This is the biggest disadvantage, right? There is no rubber material, plastic material which can absorb the shock. So this is a disadvantage. Now let's think about the design equation of muff coupling. Now here, the first thing you have to think about the design of shaft, because ultimately coupling is connecting the shaft. So you must know the design equation of shaft. Now you know, in case of design of shaft, we first have to have an idea about the power transmissions. So for power equation, 2 pi nt. If the power is given to you, you have to find out the torque transmitted through the shaft. And from this torque, you can find the diameter of shaft, right? In case diameter of shaft is given, shear stress is given, you can find the torque, right? Same torque is also passing through the key and the coupling. So for the same T value, that is torque value, we have to design the muff coupling. Now here beautiful thing or simple thing about the muff coupling is that its dimension is taken in proportion of shaft diameter. So outside diameter, that is this D, capital D, is taken as 2 times shaft diameter plus 13. Very simple, right? Its length is taken, length of the sleeve is taken 3.5 D. If it is made from cast iron. If it is made from steel material, you can take it length is equal to 2.5 times D, right? Because steel is stronger compared to the cast iron. But mostly the sleeves are made from cast iron material. And for that, you can keep the length is equal to 3.5 times the shaft diameter. Now, as a part of design, once you know the dimension of the part, you have to verify the stresses generated. Right? You have to keep it under the permissible value. Here, because it is work as a hollow cylinder, torque is transmitted. So we have to find out the torsional shear stress, right? So because the muff itself is a hollow, we have to utilize this equation, pi by 16 tau into d raised to 4 minus d. We have to treat it as a hollow shaft. So here we know the dimensions, right? We know the torque transmitted. We have to find out the shear stress induced in a muff coupling. If it is less than the permissible, we can say the relation based dimension is okay or the proportionated dimension is okay. If it is not, then we have to increase the dimensions, right? Either you increase the diameter, either increase the length. But mostly if it is failed, we have to increase the dimension because increasing dimension will increase the material thickness. Because there are possibilities, because due to limitation of space, you cannot increase the length, right? So here to increase the volume, either you have to increase the length or the diameter. So increasing diameter is easy compared to the length because length is limited by the connecting shaft. Now here third part is you have to find out the design of key. Now you already know the design of shaft and key and its fundamental. We have already covered by numericals, right? Now let's try to solve two numericals and understand the concept of the design of muff coupling. So keep calculator ready. I am going to ask the questions, right? You have to provide solutions. A muff coupling is used to connect two shafts rotating at 400 RPM. First, write down like this, data given. Always like this, data given. So RPM is 400. How much it is? It is 400. And it transmits 50 horsepower. So power is given 50, but the value is British unit, HP. Now here 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watt, right? So we can convert 50 horsepower is equal to multiply by these two value. That is equal to 37.3 kilowatt. So this is the value of power which is being transferred or transmitting from the shaft to the key and from key to the muff coupling. Now determine shaft diameter. The first we have to find out the shaft diameter. DS, okay. Then outside diameter of sleeve. Second we have to find out the outside diameter which is given by 2D plus 13 by relations. And third is length which is taken as 3.5 times D, okay. So we are going to take by relationship. Now assuming the permissible shear stress for shaft and key is 40 Newton per millimeter, right? Means here the shear stress for shaft and key is given as 48 megapascal. But if for the sleeve it is different value, right? So for sleeve it is 60 Newton per millimeter square, right? Let's try to solve the problem here, right? First is we have to find out torque transmitted. So torque transmitted, because all equations are based on torque, not on power. So it is come from the equation P is equal to 2 pi nt divided by 60. Here, the power is that we found out from this converting the 50 HP value into kilowatt is 33.3 kilowatt, right? So 37.3 kilowatt. So I'm turning into watt only. So 2 pi n is given 400 RPM, right? So find the torque and 60. What is torque value, please? May I know? What is torque value? It is 891 Newton into meter. Okay, it is 891 Newton into meter. Now from this, let's find the shaft diameter. By considering torsional shear stress failure of shaft into d raised to cube. Here it is 891 10 raised to 3 by converting this meter into millimeter. Okay, so pi by 16. For the shaft material, it is safe stress value is 48. So put it 48 and try to find out the d. Please calculate it. So it comes out 45.56, but we are going to take it is equal to 48 millimeter. For the safer side, we are going to take it 48. Okay. Now here, let's say third, sleeve dimension, right? So outside diameter. What is outside diameter? Outside diameter of sleeve D is given as 2 times shaft diameter plus 13. So here 2 into 48 plus 13 is equal to 109 millimeter. Okay. Now length of key, sorry, not length of sleeve, not a key, is given as 3.5 times shaft diameter. So 3.5 into 48 is 168. Now you may have a question in your mind. We already found out the dimensions by taking the proportion, right? So then what we have to do? We have to do a checking. We have to check out the induced stress in a sleeve, considering its hollow cylinder, right? So checking sleeve for torsional shear stress. For shear stress, right? So here torque T is equal to pi by 16 by considering the hollow cylinder. So d raised to 4, which is shaft diameter and its outside diameter into tau. Here the tau itself is basically shear stress of a sleeve. So we can put like this. The torque is 891 10 raised to 3, that is this one. Okay, is equal to pi by 16. What we have is 1109 raised to 4 minus shaft diameter is how much it is? We found out 48, right? So 40 raised to 4 divided by 109. Now find out the shear stress induced in a sleeve. Here the sleeve shear stress comes out is 3.64 megapascal, which is less than the permissible stress of 16, right? So just look at the value is, safe value is given 16. So induced stress for the power transmission of 50 at 400 RPM with adapted dimensions or proportionate dimension 109 and 168, the shear stress induced in the sleeve is 3.64 megapascal, which is much lower than the permissible value of 16. So hence we can say 109, which is outside diameter of sleeve, and its length is safer. Now let's solve the second numerical. Estimate power transmission capacity of muff coupling means what? We have to find out the power. How much power can be? So this is the requirement, or this is the questions. Shaft diameter is 84 and muff diameter is 160. So shaft diameter is given 84 millimeter. It is already given. And the capital D outside sleeve diameter is also given 160 millimeter. Okay. Now RPN is also given 150. So permissible shear stress for shaft and MUFs are 50 and 10. So for shaft it is given 50 and for sleeve it is given 10, right? Now what this numerical says, just try to understand how the MUF coupling works. This is the shaft and this is the sleeve, then again output shaft, right? So this is the key, second key. Here torque transmitted from shaft to the key, then it is from sleeve, and from sleeve to the key and to the shaft. So here we can find the power transmitted from the design of shaft and also from the design of sleeve. Now we are going to get two values of power. Whichever lower is our final answer. Let's say this is 40 kilowatt. Let's say this is 70 kilowatt. There are chances that coupling itself is capable to transmit 70 kilowatt. But from the shaft is only able to capable to transmit only 40 kilowatt. So this is the lowest value is only possible to transmit through this assembly, right? We cannot choose 70 kilowatt as an answer. But if you choose it and if you try to transmit it, the shaft will fail because shaft is only able to transmit 40. So the lowest is your answer, right? So here we have to find out the power transmitted from two ways. One is transmitted from the shaft and from the coupling. So first is from the shaft, okay? So considering shaft, right? The power transmitted. So here what we can do. So considering the shaft, what we have is the torque transmitted through shaft is given by pi by 16 d raised to cube into tau, right? So this is the equation for shaft design. Here what is given to us? We have given to us the shear stress value, then the diameter, right? So from these two we can find the torque transmitted, right? So let's replace the value pi by 16. The shaft diameter is 84 raised to cube, and for the shaft the safe shear stress is 50, right? It is 50. So from this let's find the value, right? Here the diameter is in terms of millimeter. So value that we are going to get, it will be in terms of Newton into millimeter. So I directly convert into meter. So it comes out to be 5.82 10 raised to 3 Newton into meter. Student, try it yourself and find out the answer. Try to match with my answers, right? It's very important because in examinations you may face a problem here because students are sometimes confused. What is a unit? They simply straight away go and write it out Newton meter. It is not possible because we have taken the diameter in millimeter. So the unit of the torque will be Newton into millimeter. But whenever you use this torque in power equation, 2 is equal to 2 pi nt, you have to convert into Newton into meter. Remember this. When you use power equation to find the power, torque has to be in Newton meter, not in Newton millimeter. So you have to convert into Newton meter. So I have converted it and the answer is 5.82 10 raised to 3. Please try to match with this answer. So power transmitted. So here power transmitted, P is given 2 pi nt divided by 60. So let me put the value. So pi RPM is given 150. Whole assembly is rotating at 150 RPM and the torque is 5.82 10 raised to 3 divided by 60, right? So what is the value? If you calculate this, it comes out to be 91.37 kilowatt. So from the shaft, this much power can be transmitted. If you use shaft design equation, you can transmit this much power, right? Let's take from the point of view sleeve, right? So power transmitted by sleeve design, right? So here we are going to consider same equation. T is equal to pi by 16 d raised to 4 capital D into shear stress of sleeve, right? So torque is, let's replace the value, pi by 16. Capital D is given, yes, it is 160. So 160 raised to 4 and shaft diameter is 84. So it is 84 raised to 4th power divided by 160. Now sleeve shear stress value is given is 10, right? You cannot take 50 because in numerical it is separately given, right? So do not forget it, take it 10. Now find out the torque value T in terms of Newton meter. Remember this. This value is going to give you the unit of Newton millimeter. Why? Because here the diameter is taken is in terms of millimeter. And the sleeve or shear stress value is Newton per millimeter square, right? So it is cancelling out, right? So cancelling out the 1 power, right? So because of that, what we have, the final value is Newton millimeter. But for the power, we need in terms of Newton meter. Remember this. So student, try to find out and let me know the value. So it is going to come out 7428 Newton meter. This much of torque can be transmitted through the sleeve, right? But it was earlier this much. Now let's say the power possibilities, right? Power transmitted. Power capacity means that value can be transmitted. So it is P is equal to 2 pi NT divided by 60. Here let's find 2 pi, the RPM is given 150 and the torque is 7428. 7428. Do not use the value that is solved by Newton millimeter. Remember, you have to convert into Newton meter. Simply divide this answer by 1000. That will give you the Newton into meter. Now divide by 60 and find out the power value. Here it comes out 116.6 kilowatt. Student, try to match the value. You have to practice with me, right? Okay. So here we have two values of power which can be transmitted. If you consider shaft design, the maximum value is 91.3 kilowatt. But if you consider the sleeve design equation, you can transmit this much value of power. Now what is final answer? Definitely, as explained earlier, the lower value is your answer. So the lower value, the answer is lowest value of power, which is 91 point, how much it is? Let's say 91 point, right? So 91.37 kilowatt can be transmitted. So this is the power transmitting capability of in this numerical, right? You cannot choose this value because the power is transmitted through the shaft, through the coupling, right? So only lowest value is possible. If you choose this, it will fail the shaft. So, but this lower value can be safely transmitted through the coupling because its maximum capability is 116, right? जो कम है उसको तो हम ट्रांसमिट कर ही सकते हैं, लेकिन जो ज़्यादा है उसको कम वाले में ट्रांसमिट नहीं कर सकते. शाफ्ट क्या हो जाएगा, फेल हो जाएगा, राइट?